Hi, Reverend White Buffalo again here. Wanted to talk about something we can contribute to international trade, because I've asked the United Nations on some things about. I sent a request asking that we be allowed to actively participate in an international trade outside and separate from U.S. government. And how one of the things that I think that we can do is commercially compete in agriculture, because one, we're gifted in organic growth of produce, and we're very highly respected globally with that ability, because we grow the way God tells us to grow, and I'd like to implement that too also in something that we can do to actively compete, and then trade without the brokerage company. That way we get a higher price for the farmer and a lower price for the recipient, like Mexico or what have you. But it also provides us resources for food for our people. And that's good too, because of that we can produce our own and not have to rely upon outside sources. Because from what I understand, is that we can't really rely upon any major corporation coming on, and I don't know if that's kind of good and kind of bad. On the bad side is that we're not being allowed to be provided for and protected under a corporate umbrella that has an obligation to the patrons to provide healthy foods. Instead, from what my sources are telling me, is that food comes in the back of like a Datsun truck, and we don't know where the source came from, and that could be genetically tampered with produce, and you have to be very careful with that, because then there are people get sick, and then we're unhealthy, and things like that. So I think if we actively participate in agriculture and the commercial side with the intent to trade and with the intent to feed our people, we know that we're going to get some organic good food for our people, and the elders are going to be able to be provided for, and our tribes are going to be able to grow and be able to have a good solid income coming in once we're unified. And I think that that's very important to look really positively in the eyes of United Nations and say, hey, look, we want to compete because we are a nation too. We're Indian nations unified, and we want to compete too, and we should be able to do that. In fact, give us a seat on the flipping United Nations panel committees and boards and what have you, and let us give you our opinion, because we're mighty, because we do it globally. We're mighty because we've got our feet in every country, don't we? Pretty much, if there's a tribe, we unify with the tribe, then we have a say to how these tribes over here in Brazil are being treated. Because from what I understand, a lot of the industry that's going down to cutting down the trees come right out of U.S. And that really angers me, because that's a commercial that's being a hidden commercial coming out of U.S. going right into Brazil. And I'd like someone, if you have the resources, to check into that for me, because I'm hearing this. I haven't got that confirmed yet. So I'm not going to make a valid solid accusation. I just want someone to see if they can look into that for me, because I don't have that resource right now. But this is what I'm hearing, and those rainforests need to be left alone. So because there's tribes there, and it interferes with their way of life, it interferes with their culture, and there's lots of things there that those tribes could actually farm for us. I mean, because I know that transportation is bad, and it might be difficult, but a couple of times a year, maybe we can go in and harvest something from there that's good, that help us somewhere else regarding illnesses and things like that. And those tribes they know what's good, and that's because each tribe, it knows what's grown indigenously for the tribal needs of that people, and God has educated them on what to be used for what sicknesses and what illnesses. And each tribe, when you unify, makes one complete circle globally of knowledge, because there's so much knowledge that God has to provide for us. In fact, He has to break it down territorially to so much. That's why unification is so very vastly important. because then this tribe can talk about the wellness for these sicknesses for these people over here, and this tribe can say, this is what God has taught us about these sicknesses here, and we can pull it together. And I think that's very important. So I think that to actively participate in trade is going to impact the nations drastically. I think it'd be great. And I think I mentioned something yesterday about selling things in bulk and in lot through trade, and that's something that I look into too. And something else that I'd like to look into is something that I don't see anybody doing, and they don't allow here in the States. And I have my own specific belief on it, is the growing of tobacco, because that's very important to our people, and it'd be a really good trade for us, is to grow tobacco and sell it globally, because U.S. government, I believe, wants to, because God tell me, that we need to test the papers, the dyes in the papers. That's what causing cancer. And it's not necessarily the tobacco, because God tells us to smoke tobacco, because it is similar element to the spirit, and it engages with the spirit and inspires the spirit. And God tell me you need to smoke, and He'll tell me when to smoke and when not to smoke, and I don't get addicted. Sometimes He want me to pray for hours and hours and hours. I could smoke half a pack at one sitting, or a pack a day for a week, and then I just don't want it. I don't ever get addicted to it. Like lately, I've been not smoking. It's been a few weeks, and I'm fine. But God just told me not to smoke right now. And then next week He might say, go get a pack of cigarettes or two, because it's going to be needed. And our people know this. So I say that we stand up and fight for that right, because what I understand, this is my personal belief, is that this whole campaign to talk about how bad tobacco is, started when they didn't want to include Cuba in trade. And that came in around the 60s or the early 70s, in my opinion. And all of a sudden, tobacco's bad. Tobacco's bad, tobacco's bad, tobacco's bad. But it's never been bad for Native. And God say, I bless some tribes with things that I don't bless other tribes with. So you other tribes stay away if you don't get to do it. But God say, pray, and our people get to smoke. And so I think that we should be able to produce the tobacco. That is something too. Also, there's going to be a question about whether or not to drink alcohol. Now I drink, but I choose a tribal produced beer or tequila. But I stay away from Patron. And for my own personal reasons, but I stay with Mexican-made produced alcohol, because it's tribal produced. The stuff that is here has a bad condensation because of what happened to our people. And let me tell you, God told me, show me visions. He said what happened is it was moonshine. It was moonshine that was gifted to our chiefs as holy water or mineral water, and then our chiefs would drink it. And we didn't really know lies back then, did we? We didn't, because our people were in a place with God that we didn't understand a non-truth, because it just wasn't something that our people did. And so we believed in what they said in the beginning, and so our holy men would drink it, and then they would die of alcohol poisoning. Moonshine is horrible, and then if that wasn't bad enough, God showed me, envisioned that the people, the Wasichi would come back and say, well, see, he wasn't holy, and so we'd feel bad because the holy water killed our holy man, and so we drink it thinking it was okay, and then we get sick, and they say you're not holy. Then we feel guilty because we're not holy. And that's what God showed me. It was just a really bad, horrible thing for ancestors. But I say you pray, because I'm not going to tell you you should drink or shouldn't drink. That's not my place. And all I'm saying is that I'm going to respect the heck out of those people who don't. because a lot of times I don't. And then there's times where I do, because I want to accept those people who choose to do too. And I want them to feel okay. And I want them to accept me if I do. And I want them to accept me if I don't. And God pretty much tells us, that's the main thing right there, is if we pray, God will tell us what He wants us to do, independently and collectively. So anyway, that's what I wanted to talk about. Some things I think that we could actively participate in international trade. And from what I understand, that's different is that there's some under table. Oh, we talked about that yesterday. Under table payments to do trade, and I'm thinking, gosh, that's bad business. Very bad business. It is. But anyway, ciao.